Bimmer for life. Somebody has JB welded a metal nipple in this. That makes sense. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're saving this 2006 325 Xi. Let's take a look at it. So, like I said, this is a 2006 BMW 325 Xi. This car has the N52 engine, automatic transmission, all-wheel drive. A friend picked this up for his kid and wants me to look it over and fix what's wrong with it. I can tell you that it's got a check engine light, it runs rough. I know the faults that are in it are for a cylinder 4 misfire, and it has intake and exhaust cam timing faults. We're going to take care of the rough running faults first. The guy he picked it up from already put coils and plugs in it. Great. So I'm thinking it's probably a fuel injector. As you see, the body on it's in pretty good shape. These rails up here could use some paint. Needs a mirror on the right side. Interior's in pretty good shape. It's got heated seats, navigation, all that fun stuff. It's always a good sign when there's spare parts in the back seat. Great. Also, here in the trunk is the muffler because the guy they bought it from decided to cut it off. That makes sense. So I bet that sounds lovely. So we gotta put that back on. Great. And this is under the hood. The microfilter housing that goes up along the bottom of the windshield is what's in the back seat. The e-box cover and all that's, I think it's in the back seat or it's on my workbench. But this is the N52 motor. The oil filter housing gasket is leaking a little bit between where it mates to the block. It has a belt that is much shorter on it than what it should be because the AC compressor down there has launched its pulley off. Great. This coolant outlet here has been glued back together, it looks like. That makes sense. Dorman makes a nice aluminum outlet that the hose goes to that we're going to put on this. So not too bad under the hood, but it's always scary when somebody else has been messing with things. You never know what's done.
This is how you get rid of your engine light. Just 101.
But we should be able to figure it out. Needs a windshield. Windshield's cracked. It's got newer tires. It's in pretty good shape, honestly. No major dings, no rust. Bumpers line up good. So it should make a pretty good car once we get through it. But I guess our next step should be, let's put it up in the air. We'll look at it from underneath, see what it might need under there. Then we can get some parts ordered. Alright guys, so here we are under the car. You can see the splash shields are all in place. Some oil from where that oil filter housing gasket's leaking down the front of the engine. Suspension doesn't look too bad. Brakes look pretty much brand new. It's like the control arm bushings, the rear ones, are leaking. This side here, same story, new brake pads. Those control arm bushings up there are cracked and leaking a little bit of fluid. I'll have to get some of those. It's got a new front drive shaft. It looks like that had let go at some point in time. A little dampness on the transmission pan, but I think that's engine oil. It doesn't look like the transmission's leaking. Back here, everything on the rear suspension looks good. Those brake pads look new. Same story on this side. Those brake pads look new. Suspension looks good. And there's where the muffler is going to go. Her tires are in good shape. Again, under here, what metal we can see, there's some surface rust on the rear subframe. Frame and body of the car looks good. Don't really see any evidence of any accidents or any previous repairs. A little bit of surface rust up in there, nothing too major. Overall, not a terrible car. Just had to address a few of the issues on it and get it running good, and it should make somebody a really nice car. Okay, so we are back on the ground. We're under the hood. Somebody's already replaced all the ignition coils and all the spark plugs. That still misfires. So our fuel injectors are here. We got to unplug the injectors. Got to unplug oil pressure sensor. We got to unplug coolant temperature sensor. We got to unplug this Vanos solenoid down here. Remove the little metal clips that secure the harness to the fuel injectors, and then we can pop this harness up and out of our way. And then what we want to do is measure the resistance of the fuel injectors that are working properly, and then compare that to cylinder 4. And if there's a difference, we have an issue with the fuel injector. If there's not a difference, we need to look at the power supply to the fuel injector, and we need to look at the ground for the fuel injector, which is supplied by the DME. Hopefully that's not an issue, because that would suck. Alright, so the wiring harness is out of the way. We got our snap-on multimeter here, set the resistance. Now we got to measure resistance of a good fuel injector. Let's do injector for number 1 here. We got there 12.8 ohms. Looking at it upside down. Let's go with cylinder 2. About 20 ohms. Cylinder 3, 13 ohms. Cylinder 4, which is our one that was misfiring. Oh, we got nothing. Got nobody home there. So we must have an open in the fuel injector for cylinder 4. So at this point, we need to unbolt our fuel rail, which there's some 10mm bolts. There's 4 of them that hold the fuel rail on. Get the fuel rail up, and then put a new fuel injector over to cylinder 4. Here's our new fuel injector. Just got to pop that in the fuel rail. There we go. Fuel rail is ready to go back in. Alright, so the fuel injector's back in it. Now we just have to start it up and see if it runs any better. Alright, running nice and smooth now. Not bad. We still got all the other work to do. Find my flashlight. You can see the oil, right? You can see how it's damp, right? Between the block and this oil filter housing. So that's running down the front of the engine. Now we just got to take care of the few other things we noted and then see if we can figure out the cam timing faults. Let it warm up a little bit. And then we will start taking a bunch of that stuff apart and get it going. Alright, so it runs great now. I got it warmed up, so I like doing the oil filter housing gaskets when it's a little bit warmer. We have parts here to put in it. We got oil filter, got the oil filter housing gasket. We have those control arms here that have the bushings that were cracked in the car. We have that coolant outlet elbow, and we have a used AC compressor here. The only part I don't have is the belt. So I'm going to throw you guys in a time lapse, and I'm going to pluck away at this thing and try to get all the parts on it and just get it to the point where I just got to put a belt on it. And then we can take it for a drive and see if the cam timing faults come back, and if they do, I might have to get something a little better than my snap-on scanner just to see if there's more in there than what that can read. Anyway, let's get on throwing the parts in it that we have for it. Alright, so I want to take a minute and show you guys. This is that outlet that's underneath the oil filter housing at the cylinder head. This is made of plastic. That makes sense. And the nipple breaks off, which you can see here. This part is the plastic nipple. Somebody has JB welded a metal nipple in this.
What the hell is even that?
Connected the coolant hose to it, and then RTV'd the hell out of the backside of it.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going.
This is a piece made by Dorman. It's made of aluminum, so it's not going to fail again. And this was somewhere between $12 and $15. Why wouldn't you just buy this and put it on instead of wasting all your time and energy and probably the same amount of money on this?
Idiot.
Drives me crazy. Anyway, back to it. What's up, guys? So we're back on this 325. The camera died the other day, so I didn't get half of what I was working on. But I did get it all the way fixed. Ended up being 2 camshaft sensors that were bad, causing the cam synchronization faults. So went ahead and put 2 camshaft sensors in it, and we put that fuel injector in it. Now it runs beautiful and it has no check engine light. It's been sitting here for a day or so. Runs smooth, all cleaned up. Oil leaks are fixed. AC compressor is fixed. It's a pretty nice car now. We welded the muffler back on. We put the front control arms on it, ended up putting a sway bar link on it. So, mechanically, this car is in great shape now. So it's ready to go back to its owner. They still have a window regulator to replace and a mirror to replace, and it needs a windshield because that's cracked. Needs some wipers too, but that's all stuff that the owner said they would take care of. They just wanted me to get it running right and sounding right when you drove it. So it's going to do it for this video. We got some more BMW videos coming because that's the majority of what I do these days. I mean, we got Furo projects and we have the Trans Am project too. I just got to get all that stuff organized where I can start working on it. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. I'll see you guys later.